Starfleet is all about exploration starships. While the Galaxy class may have been the pride and joy of the Federation for quite some time, all good designs eventually get replaced by the next best thing. The Federation Starfleet wanted a new range of starships, with the idea of a multi-mission exploration starship coming up top. Therefore, the Vesta Class starship would be created. Entering service in 2380, the ship class would be a testbed for a number of experimental technologies. These technologies even included a quantum slipstream drive. The Vesta Class was Starfleet's ultimate exploration ship from the late 24th century to the early 25th century. So let's warp into this Star Trek Starship breakdown and learn all about the Vesta Class starship. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host, Captain Jack. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. While you're watching, what would you call a Vesta class starship if you were to command one? It has to be a good name for an exploration vessel, so comment some answers below. Okay? Engage. A big thank you to Modiphius and Star Trek Adventures for sponsoring this video. We've joined forces to tell you about the brand new Star Trek Adventures Technical Manual 2E. But first, what is Star Trek Adventures? This is a tabletop RPG set within the legendary Star Trek universe. Starfleet needs a crew, and you're up. New discoveries await explorers of Starfleet, including strange new worlds, new life, and new civilizations. The new technical manual is essential reading for any casual Star Trek fan or hardcore lore expert. If you're interested in learning more about the Galaxy class technology that we see Starfleet officers using in our favourite adventures, then this is the book for you. But the fun does not stop there. The technical manual also explores the technology of other iconic species, including the Klingons. Inside the Star Trek Adventures technical manual, you can find information on the most commonly used gear across the Star Trek universe. Yes, this does include phasers. For those of you interested in Starfleet medical, expect details on medical gear, including sick bays, biobeds, and more. I know I am loving the detailed information on close combat weapons. There is also a wealth of new game mechanics for the Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition role-playing game. The new technical manual is available for pre-order, and you can pick it up via the Modiphius website using our link in the video description. Once again, a big thank you to the Star Trek Adventures team for sponsoring this video. Let me know in the comments, have you beamed down to a game yet? As a quick note, the Vesta class starship currently only exists in Star Trek extended canon. By extended canon, we mean books, video games, and basically any material that is not on screen via way of series and movies. You can actually take command of a Vesta class in the video game of Star Trek Online. However, for a story involving a ship of the class, you can read about the USS Aventine in the Star Trek Destiny novels. Here's a debate for the comments. Is it Aventine or Aventine? I'll leave it with you. Okay, let's get into this. The Vesta class was a new type of vessel for Starfleet, classified as a multi-mission explorer able to perform various tasks. The ship had a length of 672 meters and a width of 195 meters, yet a height of only 88 meters, making the vessel relatively flat and compact with only 30 decks and 750 crew members. In case of emergencies, the Vesta class could hold 3,500 personnel. The look of the Vesta stemmed from other Starfleet ships like the Intrepid class and the Sovereign class, with a meld between the standard primary saucer section and secondary hull, which you would find on most Starfleet ship designs. The ship would have this slim aerodynamic look, as it was designed with slipstream technologies in mind, which required aerodynamic features to lessen the chance of microfractures on the ship's hull. The nacelles are also designed with slipstream in mind, with their pylons being reinforced. The nacelles have a more extensive cooling system than normal Federation ship nacelles, so the entire nacelle casing is more comprehensive than other starships. There is also a more advanced Bussard ram suit system to draw in interstellar hydrogen. The deflector itself is more in line with the Galaxy class, an oval-looking blue deflector rather than the Sovereign circular yellow deflector dish. The deflector has to focus on the quantum field to facilitate the ship's transition into slipstream. This requires a tremendous amount of energy, and is why the Vesta class has a large deflector, and the quantum field focus controller is centered in the front of the dish. The ship's main shuttle bay was on deck 12, almost the center of the ship. However, right in front of the shuttle bay, on the exterior, was a large flight deck, allowing small craft too large for the shuttle bay to land, such as runabouts. This area included a large deck lift which lowered into a runabout bay. The Vesta class featured state-of-the-art weaponry, which allowed it to contend against the Borg, and it was designed to do so at the height of a Borg threat in the 24th century. As this was a Starfleet ship, it would have your standard phaser arrays and torpedo launchers, which would have photon and quantum torpedoes. However, what was state-of-the-art about this class is it also carried transphasic torpedoes, which was developed as an anti-Borg technology by Captain Janeway in an alternate timeline where the USS Voyager and crew did not return to the Alpha Quadrant in 2378. The ship also came equipped with retractable experimental Mark 12 phaser cannons. These phaser cannons are positioned on the underside of the saucer section, with a forward firing arc. Not just the armaments of the Vesta class were advanced, with advanced shields and sensors also integrated within the ship. These advanced systems included a multi-dimensional wave function analysis module and the sympathetic pheromone transceiver. Even while installed on the class prototype, the new sensor technologies were deemed top secret. Vesta also had more advanced ablative armor integrated directly into its hull, which allowed it to disperse particle beam impacts on the hull if the shields were down. Regarding engines, the ship came with a standard warp drive, allowing it to reach speeds of warp 9.99+. However, the vessel would also come with a transwarp drive and quantum slipstream drive. Other advanced technologies on the vessel, such as a quantum field focus controller and chronoson integrator, enabled these. As a multi-mission explorer type of vessel, the ship housed 24,000 metric tons of cargo space, allowing for lots of storage for various missions, as well as 20 individual transporter sites, including 4 cargo transporters and 6 emergency evacuation transporters. Finally, in terms of auxiliary craft for other movements of personnel or cargo to perform missions of their own, the ship housed a standard complement of Type 11 shuttles and some Deneuve runabouts and Yellowstone class runabouts. Shuttles were not the only aspect of the Vesta class that could land, as the ship also included landing gear for planetary landings, just like the Intrepid class. Given this is a starship from books, we don't know much about the internals of the starship. It came with your standard layout though. This included crew quarters, crew relaxation areas like 10 forward, and the mess hall, and also cargo storage. The main engineering would obviously be a location, and a quite important one. However, a lot of the space was also dedicated to the quantum slipstream systems. A diagram by the original designer shows how this is laid out on the Vesta class. Standard Starfleet transporters were installed, with 20 available transporter sites on board. The Vesta class was put into service by at least September 2380. By February 2381, there were 7 class vessels in service. In 2380, Ezri Dax was already serving aboard the Vesta class USS Aventine. Apart from the namesake of the class, with the USS Vesta, Vesta class starships were named after the 7 hills of Rome. Starfleet's Vesta class development project oversaw the research and development of a multi-mission explorer. As a reminder, the following story points take place in novels in the Star Trek expanded media. In January 2381, the Borg commenced an invasion of the Alpha Quadrant. This is told with the Star Trek Destiny novels. The new Vesta class, with its state-of-the-art weaponry and defences, was found to be one of the only Starfleet vessels able to mount an effective defence against the Borg assault fleet. Many ships of the Vesta class were assigned to defend Federation core worlds, including Earth, Vulcan, Andor, and Teller. The USS Aventine, one of these Vesta class starships, would take a beating over Akamar during a Borg attack, which killed more than 250 of the crew, including the captain and first officer. In the chain of command, this left Ezri Dax to assume command. 1 week after the battle, Starfleet Command would officially promote Ezri to captain and give her command of the Aventine. The Aventine would play a major role during the Borg invasion, after discovering a network of subspace tunnels that allowed the Borg to invade Federation space. The Aventine and the Enterprise E would start investigating this network, but be forced to stop when a fleet of 7,000 Borg vessels was making their way to Earth. Captain Dax would try to use the newly installed quantum slipstream drive to mount a defense of Earth, but instead use it to plant a fake Borg queen within the collective, which would help save numerous worlds from being destroyed by the Borg. The USS Aventine, USS Titan, and USS Enterprise E will be present as the collective was defeated by their ancient origins, the Kalar, in the Azure Nebula. After the Borg invasion, the Aventine would make great use of its quantum slipstream drive to aid in rebuilding what was destroyed by the Borg. Its sister ship, the USS S-Queen, would also be fitted with a quantum slipstream drive of its own after the successes of the one on the Aventine. The S-Queen and the USS Quirinal would be assigned to Project Full Circle, a project with the aim of checking up on the Delta Quadrant after not only the journey of the USS Voyager, but also now the dissolution of the Borg Collective. After an encounter with a mysterious force known as the Children of the Storm, the Quirinal would crash land on the planet but be repaired by a coordinated repair effort led by the Project Full Circle fleet engineer B'Elanna Torres, and the ship USS Achilles. In September 2381, the 2 starships alongside the USS Curry and Hawking would find themselves stuck within the Omega Continuum and sacrifice themselves to restore the area of space, destroying all 4 ships and losing 785 people. As such, all Vesta Class ships assigned to Project Full Circle had been destroyed. In April of 2382, the designs of the slipstream drive used on the Vesta Class starships would be stolen by the Typhon Pact, an alliance of forces hostile to the Federation that formed after the Borg invasion. The green ships with these stolen designs would look similar to the Vesta Class. Later that year, the Aventine would be supporting a mission of Julian Bashir and Serena Douglas, who had learned of a new prototype Breen quantum slipstream drive and were ordered to destroy it, to make sure that the Typhon Pack would not get too powerful. In August of 2385, Captain Dax and the Aventine crew docked at the new Deep Space Nine for the dedication ceremony of the new starbase. This followed the original Deep Space Nine being destroyed by the Typhon Pact. Though the Aventine, and by extension Ezri Dax, were on good terms with Julian Bashir, in September of 2385, the Aventine was ordered to intercept Bashir on his way to Andor, thinking he was leaking information to the Typhon Pact. Dax, however, sides with Bashir, knowing he has the cure to the Andorian reproductive crisis that was currently happening, which is why the Andorians had left the Federation. For going against orders and helping Dr. Bashir, Dax would be interred on Jawas 2, a Federation stockade. Who became captain of the USS Aventine is unknown at this point, but later that year, it was found that the Federation President Pro Tempore was not who he claimed and was actually working with a Cardassian fringe group known as the True Way. With this discovery, Dax was cleared of her crimes and regained her captaincy of the USS Aventine. In 2387, the USS Aventine, the Vesta Class starship, was one of the leading ships vital in trying to mount a defense against the Davidians. Unfortunately, a Davidian attack, one of the Davidian serpents, a being in temporal flux, hit Ezri, which caused her to rapidly age and turn to dust. Alongside Ezri, many members of the Aventine's crew shared the same fate. Sam Bowers then takes command of the Aventine, though not for long, as eventually the entire timeline, known as the First Splinter, is collapsed to defeat the Davidians. In Star Trek Online's storyline, the Vesta Class is active and plays an important role in Starfleet's exploration and defense efforts. Due to the success of the class, Starfleet would develop two subclasses. These are the Aventine Class Multi-Mission Reconnaissance Explorer and the Rademaker Class Multi-Mission Strategic Explorer. The Vesta Class was first introduced in the Star Trek The Next Generation novel Greater Than the Sum, with a reference to the USS Aventine. Still, the first appearance of the Aventine and the Vesta Class would come about in the Star Trek Destiny trilogy of novels. This class is named after the Roman goddess of hearth and home, which is why the ships of the class were named after the Seven Hills of Rome. Authors David Mack and Keith R.A. DiCandio confirm Vesta's namesake. Out of all Seven Hills of Rome, only Caladian and Palatine have yet to appear in the Star Trek universe. However, the ship would only get a design in 2008. The Vesta Class was designed by Mark Rademaker, who would take inspiration from the USS Voyager and the fake USS Dauntless, as they had previously used the quantum slipstream technology. The Vesta Class would also incorporate elements from Rademaker's unique design, this being the USS Spirit. It has been seen in the 2009 Ships of the Line calendar. As an interesting note, Rademaker once had a concept on his Flickr profile that showed the Vesta Class performing some sort of saucer separation. This being where the front section of a ship, which we'd call the saucer, separates from the main hull. Whether this confirms that the Vesta Class can perform this operation is unknown. There are no recorded events or mentions of the starship having this potential. Likely, it was just a concept. In Star Trek Online, the game features a Federation Vesta Class starship as a set of starship classes in service to Starfleet. Currently in-game, there is the Vesta Class, which is a base ship of a class, the Aventine Class, the Rademaker Class, the Bridget Class, the Palatine Class, and the Esquiline Class. So that's Trek Central's complete analysis on the Vesta Class starship. We regard this as one of the ultimate exploration vessels developed by Starfleet for the United Federation of Planets. Would you take one of these out for a spin, or is there another starship design you would prefer? If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.